Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Izzy, and in today's video I'm going to share what it was like to backpack through the Sierra Nevada on the PCT. And for many people who know this, the Sierras are a very notable section. There is a lot of excitement and a lot of fear surrounding this part, and honestly, it was my favorite part of the PCT. In today's video, I not only want to share with you guys, but I want to share with my friends and my family what it was like in my perspective through my writings and through my videos. And I would love to make this come alive and really just express how it felt for me, really, truly, rawly. And I really did not hold back when writing this. So without further ado, here is the Sierra Nevada. The Sierra is a land of dramatic and wild beauty. It is not for the timid soul who lacks certainty, doubts their decisions, hesitates for their freedom. There's an intoxication to the landscape, and it lures you to explore places John Muir deemed to paint in our imaginations. Alpine lakes, lush valleys, snowbanks, resting on mountain peaks, all illuminated by the sun. The trail that spans 390 miles passes through 3 national parks, 20 wilderness areas, and over 700,000 acres of preserved wilderness area. The path itself has been buried under a decadent layer of snow and crystalline frost. To be honest, there's a bit of fear surrounding mile 700, the end of a chapter and the launch into the unknown. After making it through the desert, we were on our way to a new beginning. Little did we know how this coming section would define the rest of our hike, as well as my own perspective of pain, commitment, and teamwork. Once the desert section is complete on the Pacific Crest Trail, through hikers enter the most difficult section of the trail, the Sierra Nevada. In this transition, one must look at themselves and objectively determine if their gear and skills are ready for the undertaking to come. At this time, difficult decisions are made and new groups are formed. Intimidated by snowpack, some hikers choose to flip north, hoping to find snow-free trail in Northern California or Southern Oregon. Subsequently, this year broke records, where snowfall was 342% compared to annual average, forcing through hikers to become mountaineers. Unfortunately, for many who chose to flip north, struggled to avoid snow as far as Ashland, Oregon. For those who continued north, would face conditions that would take immense mental and physical strength. Starting in Sequoia National Forest, you were overwhelmed with glacier-carved landscapes and magnificent granite monoliths. Soon, the snow overtakes the trail, where one will climb over Forester Pass into Kings Canyon National Park, a place predominantly visited by foot. Entering Yosemite, the landscape turns into a living painting and a living hell. Raging rivers and astonishing sunsets, the pureness of this beauty does not come without a cost. My days spent in Yosemite were some of the most difficult, a time I often spent holding my breath, crossing rivers up to my waistline, cold and wet, diminished by winter's melt and raging rivers. Before the trail, I was apprehensive to be in the company of others. I believed I preferred isolation. My whole life, I felt suffocated by the presence of others. I allowed how others felt and acted as a validation for who I was. I lacked an understanding that only I can allow myself to feel inferior. Not a man nor a mountain could define me. It was during this time in Yosemite I put my ego and my insecurities to rest. I looked around me for the company of others, and I asked for help. If it wasn't for my trail family, my personal experience in Sierra may have been arduous. I learned what it means to surrender, and through the compassion I found for myself, I have become a better person. For true solitude does not lead to true happiness. Each of us have amazing potential, and together, when we allow others to be a part of our journey, we can get further. Ultimately, sensations in the Sierra were visceral. I felt confounded in beauty, untouched, unfiltered, unspoiled. You could feel a million sensations, the rush of every emotion you've ever felt in a fleeting moment. It was powerful, more than I could handle at times. I adored the silence and the snowfall, the satisfaction in watching ice melt, the music water made when it crashed onto rock. We were alone with nature, an environment where human nature could unveil itself. such raw, undigested expressions we had with each other. We cried, we yelled, we smiled, and cried some more. It broke me. It broke me 10 million times, and the next day, 10 million times more. As the days went by, late spring became early summer. As the summer turned, conditions moved from solid ice to soft slush. The cool nights began to evaporate as flowers and wildlife returned for summer's sweet abundance. With the season transitioning, we witnessed the crash of multiple avalanches just yards in front of us. Days where my knees were shaking through stressful traverses, taking each step with high precision. At times, it felt like logic and reasoning were out of the question, discernment shrinking with every tiring step. Sometimes, you were too far ahead to turn back around, even if you were terrified. Yet, above fear and tired feet, the beauty of the place had not gone unnoticed. The frozen mornings of the Sierra were quiet and still, far from any pollution of society. Life in the city seemed terrible and wonderful all at the same time. You see, endless distractions and stimulations move you through the day, but here the simplicity of life makes you feel so present, aware of everything around you. You really get to know yourself in places like these. I think the best and worst parts of us come out when you have nothing to distract yourself with. You learn who you are in times of fear, in times of happiness, nowhere to turn to but within. Viewing myself in this way used to be unbearable, raw, vulnerable, and human. I couldn't handle it, especially living my entire young adult life suppressing everything that hurt me. I wouldn't let myself feel for the longest time, afraid that my vulnerability was weakness. Little did I realize how good it felt to feel, how amazing it felt to cry sometimes. For I had bigger things to worry about, like constantly scanning for frostbite on my toes as I carried my 40-pound pack up and over the mountain passes in front of me. Existential philosophers and psychologists have long discovered that authentic happiness rises from embracing suffering as the essence of the human condition. They see life as a series of paradox, predicament, and problems. Life is also full of striving, questing, and victories. Life's old issues seem small to me now. You never realize how your perspective of suffering can greatly shift when your survival comes first. Money, success, validation, none of it seems important when you are counting your steps across the steep ice traverses, where one wrong step could seriously hurt you. Letting myself cry was the last of my worries. We chose to be here, and it is a privilege to walk among this rugged landscape. This mountain range truly leaves no room for any type of loss of concentration, and I am forever grateful for what it has taught me. So that, my friends, is the Sierra Nevada portion of the PCT. It was my favorite part of the whole trail and super amazing, and the most difficult thing I've ever done, yet the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And when people say that Type 2 fun is the most rewarding, they're not lying. It is. Without my trail family, it would have been impossible. There were times I couldn't even cross a river because it was too strong, and times where I literally got carried across the water, and it is nothing to joke about how serious it is to take care of yourself and to be safe in situations like these. But at the same time, I was never afraid really going in. I always say the less I know the better, and honestly I'm really glad I stuck through. There were many times I wanted to quit, days where carrying 12 days of food on your back just hurts, and you're thinking to yourself, gee, I could be doing something else right now. And days that are so cold and you really need to learn discipline, like waking up at 4 in the morning to get up and go hiking and get over another mountain pass. And the first half of the Sierras are very different than the second half. The first half, you're going over pass after pass after pass, and once you get over that last pass, there's many passes, but you're entering Yosemite, and Yosemite is full of rivers and river crossings, and the environment changes, and you're going further north. And that day that you walk into Lake Tahoe, it is so rewarding just knowing that that is the end of a chapter, and you get to finish in South Lake Tahoe, and it is so beautiful, and there's so much to look forward to after that. And you know, once you're done with the Sierra, you look back on it and you're like, whoa, that was amazing, that was epic. I really was out here in nature, and I hadn't seen people for days on end. I mean, there was 10 days I hadn't even seen a woman, to be honest, and it was beautiful. And so for my advice to give to those who are thinking about doing the PCT and, you know, thinking about going through the Sierra, do it. Do it if you're comfortable. Do your research. Don't doubt yourself. Take care of your body, because it can take a toll on your body, and it is incredible. It is so incredible. There's a reason John Muir wrote so much about this, and people are inspired by it every day. And you could ask a lot of people what their favorite section was, and the Sierra will probably be a top answer when it comes to the Pacific Crest Trail. So anyway, much love to you all. I'll catch you guys in another video, and yeah, see you guys then.